Way to go, Mark!
We are a day removed from Election Day, and I am honored and humbled by the support that we received yesterday, and I am honored by the opportunity to serve as the next congressman for the 17th Congressional District. As I said last night, we were almost there. It was going to take a little longer, and I was very appreciative this morning to receive a call from Congressman Maloney. He was extremely gracious in his comments in conceding the election to me, and we had a very brief but pleasant conversation, and I want to say thank you to Congressman Maloney on behalf of the people of the Hudson Valley for his decade of service as a member of Congress, representing so many communities across this district, and ask you to join me in giving him a round of applause. You know, campaigns are tough, and he was a very tough and worthy opponent, and there's over $20 million spent in this election. I did not recognize myself at times, but through it all, I think we were able to put forth a message and a vision for the future of this district and this community. This election was never about me. It was about the residents of this district and their families. Mm-hmm. Right. And I got into this race almost 6 months ago because of what was going on in our country and in our state. For the first time in our nation's history, Democrats controlled everything in Washington, in Albany, and New York City all at once. And unfortunately, as a result of the policies that have been enacted, we've experienced a 41-year record high on inflation, surging crime, skyrocketing energy prices, a porous southern border with not only a massive inflow of illegal immigration, but drugs coming into our communities, killing 300 Americans a day, and parents being labeled domestic terrorists for daring to ask questions about their children's education. That is what this election was about. That is why I ran, and that is why we won. Folks throughout this district, regardless of where they came from, regardless of their race, their ethnicity, their gender, their religion, regardless of their political beliefs, folks understood that we need to restore balance and common sense at every level of government. And I am excited by the opportunity to go to Washington on behalf of this community and this district and stand up for our families. There is a lot of work ahead, and I can assure everyone that I will do everything in my power and everything to the best of my abilities to represent all of the people of this district, from every community, from every walk of life, whether you voted for me or not, whether you agree with my politics or not. I will do my level best to fight for your family, to fight for your children, and to make sure that our voices are heard.
Yep.
Now, you don't win an election on your own. And there are so many people, many of whom are here today, so many people who dedicated themselves to this cause, who fought to make sure that last night we were victorious. And it starts with your family. And I am so blessed to be joined by my mother, my brother, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, and my wife, and our 6-month-old daughter, Juliana. It really, campaigns take a toll on a family, especially the negative ads and allegations that get made. See, she doesn't like them. But my family has been a rock throughout this, and so supportive of everything I've done in my career, but especially in running this race in just 6 months. And what we were able to do in this time was truly remarkable, because this is a district Joe Biden won by 10 points. And we were running against the chair of the DCCC. When I announced, a lot of people thought, oh, that's nice. Yeah, he'll make it a race, but he's going to lose. And the reason that I felt so confident in our ability was twofold. The people in this district and the team that surrounded me. And I want to start by thanking my business partner, Chris Russell, who was our chief strategist on the campaign. He's just a phenomenal political strategist, but even more so, a phenomenal friend. And I couldn't be more proud to be business partners with him. So thank you, Chris. I want to thank my chief of staff, Nate Soul, who also was one of our top advisors on the campaign. He did a phenomenal job, as he's done for me 2 years ago and during my time in the State Assembly. I want to thank my campaign manager, Peter Finocchio. My political director, Ciro Riccardi. The two of them worked tirelessly coordinating the campaign with all of our candidates up and down ballot, coordinating our volunteer outreach efforts. We knocked on and made phone calls to over 150,000 households in this district, and that makes the difference. In a tight race like this, where we're going to win by several thousand votes, that outreach makes the difference. And I want to thank both of them. They did a phenomenal job. I also want to recognize Lauren Marie Wohl. Who throughout my time in office and in my campaigns has been invaluable. She's been a constant source of support and somebody who has gone to bat for me on more than one occasion, but also really was critical and integral to everything we did as a campaign. And she also is the one who discovered the Chef Boyardee comment that happened to make national news over the final week of the campaign. So great job, Lauren. Thank you for all your work. And I want to recognize Rafi Silberberg. Yeah! Rafi has been invaluable to me in so many ways. He's done a phenomenal job on the campaign, also working with me in my state assembly office. But more than anything, he's been a terrific friend, and I appreciate all the work that he's done. We would not be here without him. I want to thank our party leaders here in Rockland County. and across the district. I want to thank Rockland County Republican Chairman Lawrence Garvey, Rockland County Conservative Party Chairman Sam Namath, they have done a phenomenal job here in Rockland County, a 2-to-1 Democratic county based on enrollment, and really making sure that the people have a balanced, common sense approach on a local level. And every year they have picked up seats. And this year, I would dare say, was probably our most successful year here in Rockland County, not just with my election to Congress, but our new state senator, Bill Weber. Yeah. And our next state assemblyman, John McGowan. I'm also honored to be joined by our Putnam County Republican Chairman, Andre Skill. Our next Putnam County Executive and my colleague in the State Assembly, Kevin Byrne. Our next State Assemblyman from the 94th District, Matt Slater. I also want to recognize Gina Arena and Chris Kerr, who ran great races, Stacy Halper, who ran for State Assembly. They both worked tirelessly, all three of them, and Gary Lipson for State Assembly. All four of them worked tirelessly to help get the message out, and none of us would be standing here without the collective team effort that we all played a role in this year. So thank you to all of you for running. I also want to thank my muscle, Sean Horan. He's retired Port Authority cop, and he made sure I got where I needed to go and kept me safe. So it was great. But look, there's so many more people to thank, and I just appreciate the generosity, the donations. I'm sure all of you are tired of the requests for money. I'll give you a week's reprieve. The next campaign starts after that. But I really do appreciate everybody's support. This is a very humbling experience. But it is also a responsibility, and I will live up to that responsibility and do everything I can to serve all of you in the best way that I can. So I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. I am grateful for the support across the district and honored to serve as the next congressman for the 17th district.
Yeah.
With that, I'll take any questions. Tony?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, two questions.
Yes.
How confident are you that you'll be joining the majority in the next Congress?
Well, look, New York alone is going to send 5 new members to Congress. And I think that speaks volumes to where New Yorkers are, especially after years of one-party rule. I think when all is said and done, Republicans will have the majority. I look forward to being a strong voice in that majority. I'm not going down there to be one of 435 or a rubber stamp. I will use my position as a member of that majority to make sure that this community and this district are represented.
Yep. Right.
Members of the Republican caucus who are on record saying they want to use the power of the majority to impanel all kinds of investigative committees, investigate the FBI, investigate Hillary Clinton, investigate Hunter Biden. How comfortable are you, how anxious are you for the party to go down that route or not go down that route?
Well, as Hillary Clinton's new congressman, I am not looking to immediately commence investigations. I think at the end of the day here, if there are incidents or information that warrants oversight or investigations, of course, that is a role of the House of Representatives, and it should be utilized. But we've seen what happens with these partisan food fights, and I don't think it necessarily serves the country well to just go from one to the other and back and forth. And so my commitment is, when warranted, absolutely. If political, I'm not looking to do that. So I think the objective here needs to be to ensure that, and that we're not just looking to engage in partisan food fights.
What kind of committee would you like to be a part of?
Look, I went to school for accounting and finance. Us living here in New York, certainly financial services is something that I would be interested in. Appropriations is another committee I would be interested in. Education and labor, foreign affairs. We're going to be going down to D.C. Within the next few days to go through orientation, and certainly those conversations will take place.
First order of business?
Look, I want the cap on salt lifted, and so I will be introducing legislation to do that. I also want to tackle, as I said throughout this campaign, I want to tackle inflation. We need to reduce spending at the federal level. We've increased spending by over $4 trillion. It's unsustainable. We need to increase domestic production of energy if we want to reduce the cost of groceries, the cost of gas, the cost of home heating. So that is my focus, that is my priority. And as I talked about with respect to crime, and especially in light of Governor Hochul winning re-election last night, if New York State does not take its responsibility seriously to protect its citizens, then I will use the full force and weight of the federal government to force them to make changes to their cashless payment. That is what I was elected on, and that is exactly what I will do.
Party's over.
Goals is to reduce spending with vital programs that help people who are suffering the impacts of inflation are not cut.
Well, 87,000 new IRS agents are not vital programs, so that'll be one of the first things that get done. And look, I, as I said before, I went to school for accounting and finance. I'm a big believer in budgeting and prioritizing your budget. And it's not an either or. We have to actually do the work to go through the budgetary process and look at where we're spending on, what is necessary, what our responsibilities are. Of course, the social safety net is critical. I want to make sure that Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid are fully funded and protected. But right now, based on the policies that have been enacted, based on the reckless spending that has been engaged, many of those programs are in danger in just a short period of time. So we need to get serious about tackling spending. You can't continue to increase spending by $4 trillion and not expect record inflation and not expect debt to accrue at an astronomical level. Both parties are responsible for this. This is not just the Biden administration. Though in the last 21 months, they have certainly supercharged spending to record levels. We need to get this under control. My focus will be to prioritize where we need to spend, including the social safety net. But this is not sustainable, and it really requires a level of seriousness that, frankly, both parties have failed to do.
You ran as a moderate. How will you work with more extreme members of your caucus to get things done, particularly if the balance of power tips in the GOP favor, but not by the wide margins that your party had hoped?
Well, listen, anytime you have a narrow majority, it requires working together within the conference, but also working across the aisle. I have a record of doing that in Albany. I have among the most bipartisan voting records in Albany. I've represented a 2-to-1 Democratic district in the state assembly. This district that I just got elected to has 70,000 more Democrats than Republicans. I will work with anyone who is willing to do the work necessary to tackle these issues. I don't care whether they're a Republican or a Democrat. Anybody who's met me for more than 5 seconds know I'll talk to anybody. For me, I'm just going to be myself and go talk to every single member of Congress, from AOC all the way to, obviously Leader McCarthy, and so on. So for me, this is nothing new and exactly what I will do.
If Republicans do get the majority, does McCarthy have your vote for Speaker?
Yes.
Bingo.
Any other questions?
One question, Mike. It's been a very long time since Rockland County has had a resident in Congress representing Rockland County. What does this mean to the county?
Well, 2 years ago we elected a Rockland County resident, and unfortunately he decided to move to Westchester. I don't think it worked out too well. But I can promise you I will not be leaving Rockland County. I will be here. I will stay here. My family has been here for over 100 years. I care about this county. I care about this community. We have not had a Republican congressman in 20 years since Ben Gilman. And, I've said many times throughout the course of the campaign when I've been asked what type of congressman would I be like. And I've said Pete King. And I've said Pete King because Pete King has always put our state and our community first, above all other interests. And that is something that Ben Gilman did. And so I look forward to the opportunity to serve as the first Republican congressman from Rockland County, representing Rockland County in 20 years, and very much look forward to getting to do the job. Well, I've said many times the MTA is the worst authority in America. Acela is not far behind it. So probably the Delta Shuttle.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, insults?
Not today.
Not today? No.
Give you a week.
Thank you, everyone.